K12 education is a mess. U.S. literacy rankings are in the bottom half of the world and are a hidden cause of the erosion of our very ability to effectively self-govern. How did we get here? America's teachers can tell you, and the answers will shock you. This is K12 Confidential.
Welcome to K12 Confidential, a groundbreaking, hard-hitting, rebellious, yet hopeful and loving podcast made by America's teachers for all of America. What you're about to hear is a short 10-minute scripted introduction to the entire podcast, recorded by myself, Trina, producer and co-host, and my husband, also co-host, teacher of over 25 years. This podcast is our love letter to the American people, but it's also a wake-up call to you all as well. Things are bad, and you're not getting accurate information about it. So after 2 solid years of deep investigative journalism and over 40 years combined in the K-12 teaching biz, we have uncovered major themes which encapsulate the messes in our world. In fact, that's how we refer to them. Just messes.
But we have also traced it back to its source, way back to what all of the problems in K-12 education all have in common. You won't hear anything else like this. We promise you that every single mess we dig into is either uncovered by the media and K-12 scholarship or is covered in a painfully cursory and ultimately inaccurate way.
But first, we wonder, why did you press play on this podcast? Were you hoping for culture war porn? Were you hoping for political vitriol to either love or hate? Well, we hate to disappoint, but that's not our podcast. We are intentionally creating a space for dissent. Yes, that is true, but not in the ways you may expect, because the whole red, blue, and purple divide thing, it doesn't line up with the huge problems we talk about, which are endemic in K-12 education. And if you're not in our world, and by that we mean not a current veteran K-12 teacher, let me say again, current veteran K-12 teacher on the ground floor in a classroom, and you think you know what's going on, you're wrong. And that's the problem. Folks outside of our world, politicians, NGOs, superintendents, they all get to control the narrative and act like they know what they're talking about. And the teachers have just gotten very used to rolling their eyes and rolling up their sleeves and quietly cleaning up the messes made by their bad decisions as best we can. But the reality is that the messes they have made have gotten so bad that this isn't working anymore. And really, it never actually did, and landed us in exactly the place we are today. So we're creating a teacher-led space which honors all of us, public, private school, pre-K through 12th grade teachers in absolutely every corner of our nation get to call this podcast home. It is your podcast and your chance to tell the American people exactly how it is and how it needs to change in order to save our kids and our very ability to effectively self-govern. And while this podcast is apolitical and bipartisan, individual teachers are not. So to pretend to be otherwise isn't honest. But the work here is to figure out how to create a space for everyone, regardless of our politics. So what we've got here, folks, are incredibly opinionated people who are used to saying exactly what they think. So are we going to mess up? Yeah, we are. Are you going to hear things that cross the line and offend you? Probably. Yeah. You will. But we're going to keep coming back to the table to keep trying to get it right because we refuse to give up. There's just way too much on the line. So if you're tired of hearing the echo chamber of your own beliefs and long for something that cuts through what you want to hear and gives you what you need to hear, then this show is for you.
We stand united against anyone who devalues teacher expertise and attempts to defund or dismantle public education. And while that may sound like a politically loaded statement, we assure you it is not. We have seen folks on both sides of the political divide on the wrong and right side of this battle. So we will be calling out the right, the left, and the center on this podcast. The fight to save and preserve public education is beyond our party politics. We've created something hopeful and brave out of all the ugliness around us. We don't pretend to have all the answers. In fact, we know that no one person does. Our world, K-12 education, is bizarre, operates in darkness, and is run entirely by non-experts. And those of us who are experts, veteran K-12 teachers, are very intentionally sidelined from any positions of leadership.
And we're not here to dish about our specific school districts or sites. That would be career suicide. And look, we're not making a dime from our podcast, so we need to keep our jobs. But it's really more than that. We're really not here to assassinate individuals caught up in this mess. Because even though outsiders are going to be horrified to know a lot of the ins and outs that we discuss on the podcast, we also know that group psychology and careful indoctrination and oppression in our world really carefully and subtly manufactures everyone's complicity. In short, no one person or institution is to blame for the mess. And although this podcast must be for everyone, and it is, we need everyone to listen, it's always going to center teachers. Our podcast is investigative journalism, which aspires to allow everyone to see a real and honest glimpse of our world, warts and all. We are teachers. We love all teachers. Red states, blue states, private school, charter school, public school, pre-K, preschool, multiple subjects, single subject, special ed, all teachers. Our de facto stance is one of utter support of all of us, because we've seen that our voice is missing from all the big decisions being made in our world, and we have seen the huge costs our nation is paying as a result.
What you are about to hear is a series of discussions which unpacks our argument for a national governing board for K-12 teachers, one which operates like any other credentialed body of professionals in America today, which allows us to lead our profession and speak up for our nation's children who are being shortchanged and sold out by the status quo. We dug bravely and tenaciously into the problems in K-12 schooling, which we noticed the outside press could not cover due to the hidden nature of our world, and have uncovered major themes which all flow from the same structural problem in K-12 schooling, which is that teachers do not get a say in how teaching is delivered to our nation's youth. It's demoralizing and infuriating that we are the only body of professionals which do not have this sort of power over our own profession. It is why the messes exist and is at the heart of what must change.
In our podcast, you will hear teachers from all over the nation come on and bravely blow the whistle on the messes in our world. It is beyond scary to do this. It's actually terrifying. And some teachers have asked us to disguise their identities, and we do. Why is it so scary? Well, the thing is, K-12 schooling in America today is like a hydra with extremely powerful heads. There's big money and big politics tied up in our world. Home real estate values are tied into this beast. Multi-billion-dollar textbook companies with their hands so far in the taxpayer cookie jar that they are up to their armpits in your money. And finally, the politicians in our bizarre world, local politicians, they get to run everything without experience or education in our field. Our discussion of these culpable parties and the messes in our world are the major themes, which is our evidence of how bad things are and why we need our solution framework. So each theme contains a number of episodes. And by the way, we refer to the themes as messes. And it all follows the same basic format. To begin with, I'm interviewed by my sister and co-host Mandy Walker. She's a non-teacher. And so at the beginning of each thematic category, somebody outside of the K-12 world and I are going to talk. And we're going to unpack things at a high level to really make things comprehensible to the American people. We've tried out a variety of formats, and the feedback we kept hearing was we needed someone outside of our world to make it comprehensible. So we listened, but we also kept our experts on, providing the evidence to back up everything we're saying. We're calling this very first short scripted episode, "We Don't Need Another Hero," because teachers are not asking to be saved. What we are asking for is for the ability to save K-12 education ourselves, and in so doing, the American people. We are the only ones that see the messes for what they are and have the solution to fix it. This entire podcast is our evidence of that statement. We love you, America, and we know how to fix it, all of it. All we need from the American people is the chance to do so. Thank you for listening. You can help this vitally important movement by signing our petition found at K12confidential.com, liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, and following us on Instagram.